Hey everybody, today we're going to be going over using the paint bucket tool in Photoshop CS6. Now, most of you may know how to use the paint bucket tool. It's been around for almost as long as Photoshop has been around. So, if you don't know how to use the paint bucket tool, this is a good tutorial to start at. And otherwise, just keep watching and see what's gonna go down in this tutorial. Yeah. So the paint bucket's primary function is to fill an area with the active foreground color. So the foreground color is going to be over here. Right now it's blue. So that's your foreground color. And the paint bucket tool is over here in your tool section. And if anything's covering it up, it will be the gradient tool. It would be covering it up. And you can see that the hotkey is G. So go ahead and select your paint bucket tool, and you can see that we have some different options going on around here. We can set it to use the foreground color here, or we can set it to use a pattern. So let me go to foreground first and just click, and you guys, I am on the wrong layer. Let me click on this one. So somehow my opacity got turned down by accident. But if I click on the layer, I can change that solid color there to a foreground color. And if I'm on a layer that's not on this one, if I click on it, then we're going to get some background that's been filled in with the paint bucket. And as you can see, the entire canvas has been filled with the paint bucket. Now it's going to stay in like an area that has been closed off by other pixels. So that way, when you use something in a paint bucket, it's going to stay within the lines, and you can use that to your advantage by clicking on the middle or something like that, clicking in somewhere to see if all your lines are connected, all your pixels are filled. So let's move on. The next thing that I wanted to show you was the pattern. So I'll get back on my paint bucket tool, go to pattern, and then we can select from some patterns. You can load any patterns that you have saved on your computer or anything like that. So I'll just stay with the bubble pattern here. And if I add that to, I have my background layer clicked, you can see that a pattern is added instead of just a solid color. We've got, let me change this back to foreground. We've got our blending modes here. Now if you don't understand blending modes yet, just go ahead and check out the blending mode tutorial. It's a 3 or 4 parter there, and it goes really in depth about each blending mode. We've got our opacity, so that means when you lay down your color, let me change this back to white real quick. If I lower my opacity, the color is going to be more opaque when you lay it down. As you can see there, it's not that full blue, but it's a more opaque color of that blue. Excuse me, more transparent color of the blue, because I lowered the opacity. The next thing that we got here is tolerance. Now what tolerance is it's a value that influences the range that the paint bucket uses to fill a given area. So if you're trying to fill in like a sky or something that has a few different colors in it, but they're like close together, like a bunch of different blues in the sky. So if you lower the tolerance, it'll grab more of those blues, and if you increase it, it'll take less. So that's what the tolerance does. The couple buttons over here, anti-alias, will give you nice crisp smooth lines instead of jaggedy edges. If we have contiguous selected, it'll select all of the colors that are within that color range. So I have this orange color here. If I go have my contiguous unchecked and click, wrong layer, my bad. Everything that was around orange, according to the tolerance here, everything that was close enough to orange got changed to blue. So if I go back and I put my tolerance up to down to like 30. I keep on doing that by accident. And I click on this, you can see that since I lowered the tolerance, it didn't accept as many colors, and the oranges came out. And that's what happens when you have contiguous unchecked. If I had contiguous checked and then I clicked on this orange here, it's only going to do this orange area because it's closed off. Contiguous just takes all the colors. So there's your unchecks and checks for that. The next one we got here is all layers. And you take that if you're going to select that checkbox, it's going to fill the color range information from all of the image's layers. So basically just takes information and fills in every layer if you have that checked that's in here in your layers panel. So that's it for the paint bucket tool. Very rudimentary introduction to the paint bucket tool, and at some point we'll go over how to use the paint bucket tool in more advanced ways to make some cool looking projects. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. You guys have a good one.